it. And I hope you're able to resonate with the content of my video. The video today is going to be about Twin Flame 101. Hey, it is so many different things. We're on a purpose, and there's so many different, love bugs that come in, and they're telling me, Roslynn, the purpose I'm living is not easy. This happens, that happens. I get triggered. I get aggravated, and they know that if it wasn't going to be worth it, it wouldn't be easy. It would be easy if it wasn't going to be worth it. That's what I meant to say. A lot of times we go through different things. We get aggravated about certain things. Things aren't going exactly the way we planned it to, but that's okay. That's okay, because we're allowing ourselves to, even if you have to keep doing things over and over and over and over and over again. A lot of times if we, that's just like with our parents, you ask, Mom, can I please get this and this and this and that? I promise you, I'll clean the house for a week. If you need me to cut the grass, doing this, how you used to do when you grow up, when you really, really wanted something. And your parents be like, sometimes they can be a little manipulating at times. And they can be like, oh, okay. So if I ask you to do anything, you ain't going to complain about it. I'm just going to have you do it, right? And it's like, okay. And sometimes parents are like that. I used to challenge my kids a lot growing up because I used to get them a lot, and it'll be different things, and it'll be, it's all about how you allow yourself to see it. Even though you may be getting aggravated, and whatever you're wanting, if it's going to impact your life in a big way, you're going to get challenges. You're going to get milestones. You're going to get speed blocks. You're going to have blocks. And it's all about yourself and just being able, because if you give up, that's going to say you really didn't want that dream. You really didn't want it. You wasted your time. You wasted my time. That's what the universe is going to be telling you. You wasted my time. Why are you going to do that? And time don't even really exist. But if we place this into your mind, you can create that reality. But it's all about how you're being tested on different things. There may be different flows. I'm that type of person. You need to calm your nerves, because sometimes you got to tell, you got to call yourself on your own ish that is taking place in your life. Being able to say, what, look, this is happening for a reason. This is where it's showing you what you need to learn through that situation that's taking place. Allow yourself to breathe for a minute, because a lot of times you got to be, relate, release. Just relate, go take it in, take it out, and just allow yourself to do that. And sometimes it's going to be challenging like that. And they know that, but that's that point where it's giving you that hunger. You got to get aggressive with yourself, because now this is that year where you're going to have to put a lot of pressure on yourself. You were like that diamond. If you didn't have that pressure, you wouldn't be able to shine bright like you do. And sometimes you really don't see it when you're going through that curve. Sometimes you be going through something, you may feel like it ain't gonna never show up, and the next thing you know, it happened the next day, or it can even happen that day. Or next thing you know, if you feeling like, oh, it's breezy, and you're allowing yourself to go through it, and you're appreciating the different challenges that's coming in your life, you're appreciating the different, mishaps, you're allowing yourself to respond, if there's a response at all, instead of allowing you to react. You're allowing you to observe what's taking place in front of you, going on that two-way street. A lot of time in one-way street, you still got to look the other way, just to make sure something ain't going to clock you when you ain't looking. And those are the things you had to be able to go through that. All these different things that's taking place throughout the years. Whenever, you've been going through this stuff for a long time. And then it came to that point where you had to get awakened. And when you got awakened, you start seeing a lot of different things, different parts of yourself you falling apart from things that's no longer serving you. You dealing with people where there's times that you probably allowed yourself to be taken advantage of or manipulated or used or whatever. A lot of times you have that kind heart, and it has been misguided in so many different ways. There'll be people that can just peg you out. They can sniff a good heart. Oh, good heart. People be thinking if you're an empath, it relies with being an idiot. No, it's not even about that. A lot of times you have to understand, sometimes, how could I be so stupid? It wasn't about you being stupid. A lot of times you had to go through those things and say, I was that type of person. I try to see the good in everything, even when the bad was reflecting towards me. I try to give people different chances, even when they showed. There were so many different things that my gut was telling me, hey, it's time to cut that person off. And then it's just like when you get to that point, It may just seem like things is happening back to back to back to back, and then it's changing. You don't realize, even though it may be an avalanche of mishaps, it's an avalanche of changes that are taking place to move out the way, because you've been dealing with it for, because you know what, no matter what it was, it don't matter what it was, to project out. It was just the fact of just saying, I needed that. I needed that in my life. And it, because the old me was like, how do you did this, you did that, you allowed this and this and this and that. It ain't even about what happened last time. It's just the fact is, when you allow yourself to let go of that past, you appreciate what that past has taught you. And that was my situation, and just being able to say, I've been blessed for me to discuss a lot of different things on here that I've gone through, or just universe has guided me to be able to talk about, that I may go through later. Gonna be certain things I ain't even go through, and then boom, next thing you know what happened. And it was just something that was creating just for it to be that omen for myself. And I was like, I'd be dag. And there'll be a lot of y'all that come on here like, Roslynn, I'll be dag. Something guided me towards that video, and I needed to see it. And I end up going through it later. That was just a sign from universe, just to be able to allow yourself to prepare, allow yourself to be comfortable of being uncomfortable. That challenge the heck out of you. And it just gets to that point, where you allow yourself to stop good. You like when you little kids, and it's just the fact is, I used to get popped for some people rolling my eyes like that, so if you didn't have to go through those different situations where you sit up here and mouth off or start growling or something like that, because it's just like, shoot, with my mom, you can't grab it. You're like, what'd you do? What'd you say? And you're like, you're going to get straight that hand clap, and then it's just like, when I allow myself to look at the different things I used to get scolded on, by a child. I look at, even though my mom's not here no more, I give my mom her flowers all the time. I said, Mom, I'm so grateful for those times you used to get me. Or there'll be different times that I talk to my kids and they get mad. And I said, when you get in my predicament, when you have a child, because, I got two of them that don't have children. The other one, she got it, and then she'll come back and be, she'll be fussing about what I tell her. And then she'll be like, Mom, now I see what you're talking about. Or if I used to get on them about cleaning up. And I said, it's just like, always tell them, how you keep your house is how you keep yourself. So if you sit up here having your house and it's not clean and junk like that, that's how your life is. But if you all in order about different things in your life, that's even though you might, you trying to find your way out of paper bag, at least you can say you trying to get yourself on that vibe of being on that straight and narrow. No matter how many curves you getting cut against, you're allowing yourself to keep going straight. Allowing yourself to not be distracted. There's a lot of times, God will tell you, focus on him, not the storm. Because it's a lot about your faith. And there's a lot of things I had to be able to say, Dad, that's what he was testing me on. Because your faith, you have to leave by feeling. Not by what you can see, not by what you can taste, not what you can feel. But it's like how you feel on the inside. And God will place all these constant situations in your life to constantly test you. Are you going to allow yourself to get distracted by what that person's saying? Or are you going to get distracted because you feel like you don't have enough in the bank when I'm telling you to keep moving forward? Regardless, you may be broke as a joke. Be broke, busted, and disgusted, as Miss Latoya be saying on her channel. She be having me laughing when she be talking about, girl, you be broke, busted, and disgusted. But then it's just like God will give you that vision that nobody else sees, and that's why he give it to you. He don't give it to your family. He don't give it to your friends. Even when you in the same family, that don't mean that they gonna give everybody the same vision. You had to be in this certain situation, or you had to go to this certain church. You had to be able to move out of that church. You had to be away from your family. Then you had to disconnect from your family, because there's so many different times how people say, well, Roslynn, you always said you had to cut family off. I did. And I did. That was the most hurtful situation I could go through. But that situation tested me and said, Roslynn, you have been in that vibe with your family for so long. Now it's time for you to step out. A lot of times you're going to have to disconnect from the people that you thought you would not be able to disconnect from. There's a lot of times like, well, I can't disconnect from that person. I don't think I can live without it. And then next thing you know, you don't have to go through that. You're going to go through the hurt, the pain, the anger. And then there's new visions that's coming up about that person. A lot of times God will disconnect from us from certain situations that we had to learn from them people. It doesn't mean that person always got to be, bad and negative and stuff like that. There's a lot of times where you have to go through a certain extension with that person. And then you learn, you grow, and then it's time for you to migrate, and go through all that. And then you're allowing yourself to be tested by that. God wants to be able to know, do you believe in yourself? And there's a lot of times you'll go through different situations where it's saying, do you believe in yourself? Where I don't know if I can deal with this. I don't know if I can be able to go on. I don't know if I can keep going through this. And if you keep allowing yourself to do that, you're going to constantly see your vibes is you falling through. You ain't overcoming, you're falling through, you're falling back. And that's why they say you got to be careful about what you say towards yourself. Careful how you say about others, careful about how you place judgment on the world within a whole. We just know change needs to take place. We can't sit up here and say, well, this person doing this person do that. I used to be a bad habit every day. I'm like, ooh, let me go ahead and stop. Change my verbiage, regardless on what's going on. People, just like when you point one finger, you point three back at yourself. And I had to learn that, and it's not about me saying, oh, I ain't never did that. No, I'm calling myself out on being real. I was that type of person, whether it was recent or it was something like months and years ago. I had to allow myself to change the way I say things. And a lot of times that takes a lot of practice to do, because you can see somebody coming straight at you and just doing this, doing everything to make you resist yourself. And a lot of times you don't realize that was that test that God brought into you. That's why we go through those karmic cycles. That's why we go through those toxic relationships. When I sit up here and say, I love the fact, and there are sometimes I don't like it, but I love the fact when I allow myself to get out my feelings, press pause for that cause and say, you know what? I appreciate those toxic relationships I had with myself, what I've had with people I've dated, I laid down with, I allowed myself to be at my job, even out in the streets where I've gone through different things, where I've connected with different people. Right now you're going through a different change where even relationships from 20 years ago is going to pop up, and it's going to tell you not for you to get in your feelings about that person, even though that person could have shook you to the core and made you want to go back to the streets. But they're telling you to take it back to the streets, give them back to the streets. But allow, even when you let that go, allow what that person taught you. Allow what that person helped you find out within yourself. If you got that person that said you needed to babysit for them, and yet they said they're going to pay you, but it's just like, but next thing you know, they didn't have that money to pay you, but they had that money to go get somewhere else. That's telling you right there, even though that's a messed up situation. I've been in situations like that before, and you go through something like that. It's like, no, next time, hey, for me to do this, I'm gonna need to get my money up front. You let them know that then, you have to be able to do that, because it's like, I'm not saying that you're that type of person, but I've had different type of people skim me on that. And it'd be like, oh, I'm gonna pay you later and never come back. I've had people take advantage of different stuff like that with me. And it was just like, now I can allow myself, hey, I learned my lesson from that person. I learned that lesson about myself. Those are the tests that I can really appreciate. Even everything that comes into your life that can be a mishap, it can just really hurt you to the core. Like, I would have never did that person like that. I would have never did this. I would have never did that. Just, you have to understand, I had to learn a lot of times. Not everybody got the same mindset as you. Not everybody got the same heart as you. I used to be a very volatile person, but I was an honest, volatile person. Like, what do you mean honest, volatile? You gonna put that in the same situation? I can say I'm gonna mess your life up, but I'll be honest about messing your life up. I end up having to pay for that, a lot through that karma clearing. Okay. That was a gift from God. I was had a gift from God. Like, oh yeah, that was a karma clearing. I had to really allow myself to really, like that. I used to do a lot of people dirty. But then it was just like, now you see what that person probably have gone through. You may not go through that same exact situation, because that's why they're telling you about that karma clearing. Even when you feel like you're doing something in selfish needs, that can come right back to you. I always tell people, it's always good when you can do dirty to somebody until that dirt come right back on you. And a lot of times that dirt come about 10, 15 times heavier back on you. And then it'll allow you to understand that some folks will keep doing it because they're determined. They're so determined because they feel like, I can't see that person win. I can't see that person doing that. And it's sad when people are like that, but that's just how some people are. You got to just accept that's how that person is. But that person showed me a lot about myself. It done tested me. It done put me in uncomfortable positions where I was ready to catch a charge. But then I allowed myself to know, we got to take your character out. Just because that person challenged you on your character, the challenge is to allow your character not to be switched up. You know, reminds me of my grandfather and my dad. You know, about certain things that I would see, you know, I can look back at, especially with my grandfather. My grandfather's like straight monotone. I'm like, you know, God rest his soul. I'm like, Pops, were you ever on a value drip or something? Because he would never, his vibe is never like that. But then that's the ones you got to really be scared about. The ones that are quick to forgive and quick to go over. If you push them to that limit, no cap. I don't want to be around that when it happens, because I already know I'm a female version of both of them, and mine go opposite. But then I had to learn. Don't allow your character to be, even when your characters be changed like that, your best response sometimes is no response at all. I had to allow myself to know every energy that's coming towards me I need to recognize it. It's for me to recognize it mentally and, recognize it spiritually, but then allow myself to like, ooh, no, let me go ahead and bounce back that, because I see what kind of energy you bring in towards me. But I appreciate that. A lot of times you have to understand those challenges is coming to challenge you about what change needs to take place. And that's where that test come in. You constantly being tested. And a lot of times it can get on your last nerve, because me and God, I'm like, look, let me go ahead and talk to you. You know, and I be like that. God be like, okay, I'm going to listen to you, but I'm going to get you. But then you're going to understand when you get out your feelings and get out your hardness on what you're trying to be with me, because you can't beat me. You can't jump me. That's one thing you're going to mistake about. You can't do that. And then when you get out your feeling like, I'm sorry, it's like, oh yeah, you forgive me, but I'm going to allow you to go through that. You know, and then you're going to appreciate what that test taught you. God is always quiet during the test, because you're like, why do I got to keep going through this? Why I got to keep going through this? Why is always this, and this, and that coming to me? If you didn't have that, you wouldn't know where your strength lie at. You don't know where your resilience lie at, your determination, your hunger, that pressure. Because you know if you really want something, you're going to be able to go through it all. And then when you finally overcome that, you're going to appreciate all those different challenges where somebody didn't support you, where you don't accept supported somebody else that neglected you, or that person that came in and said they were your friend. And all of a sudden, when they got where they at and they were in that comfortable vibe, then all of a sudden they had to leave, you know, and stuff like that hurt, you know. Stuff like that can hurt, but that is the thing that is into your life. You have to be able to have that mentality. Not everybody on my life is meant to stay there. Everybody there for a reason and a season, a journey, you know, or a whole experience. It just depends, you know, but that person has taught me that, you know, and it got me to that point where I had to get to that vibration of realizing, you know, even through my life is the stuff that hit me and guided me in ways I had to really allow myself to really say, girl, you are strong. You are so strong. Because it's just like different things that I've gone through. I'm not going to say, you know, oh, you can't go through that. You never know. And that's why I used to get mad. And I say that a lot. I can't stand it when people say, I can understand that feeling. No, the hell you can't. Please don't even put yourself in my shoes. You don't know how to lace that mess up. And you may not be able to walk through them. Just like if somebody come up and tell me that, you know, certain situations, y'all come back and tell me. And I'm like, there ain't no way. I said, there ain't no way. But then it was just like, look at the situation you have gone through. Not a lot of people can be able to rock on that vibe that you had to rock on. And that mess is steady getting tested all the time, every day. But then it's just like, girl, stay one with your strength. This is teaching you a lot about yourself, a lot about the world, a lot about the energies that you represent, a lot about the energies that represent you. Just, you know, you always protected. You're learning through every mishap you go through. That's what a test is. You know, you can either allow yourself to let that test you and you get all up in your feelings, or allow yourself to come up like, man, I needed that. You know, I may be like a little bit upset about that, but then when I allow myself to get out my feelings, it's like, that's something I needed. This is something that had me to grow. This is something that showed me about myself, about how much change I've gone through. Because a lot of times we can get mad from how we have to stay in certain chapters of our lives and don't realize every time we allow ourselves to not get in that resistance, is constantly changing for the best of you. Even though things may go against you, it's changing for the best of you. And then you get to that point when you're allowing yourself to see everything as a sign, everything is a blessing. A lot of times it's hard for us to do that, because you can go through so much in your life and it's like, man, and you be ready to just want to have that negative vibe of a monster on yourself. But then it's just like sometimes you got to shut that up, shut that mofo up, and just being able to say, what is universe trying to teach me through this situation? I can allow myself to look at every negative situation, or I can allow myself to see it as some kind of blessing dipped in disguises that I needed to allow myself to grow to get to that next level. Because a lot of times we don't realize we stay in a lot of recycled things because we don't allow ourselves to see that lesson that came in, because we're so busy looking at what somebody did or what we did, or how embarrassed we were, or how ashamed we were, or looking about what somebody got away with or whatever. It ain't about that. Because if you're moving in true intent, good intent's going to always come to you. Now, a lot of times they may not see that because there's so many different things that's coming at you. That resistance on what is, because they know. A lot of times you have to be able to remind yourself you are a blessed individual and you carry a high purpose. And a lot of people don't like that about you. So that's where a lot of resistance going to come up place, because they'll be like, no, that person can't be heard. That person can't be seen. I can't stand that person because so many people love that person, or that person. There's many people that I see that person gets appreciated too much. And I don't like that. So I'm going to be able to throw dirt in that person's game as well as their name, and allow that test to be their testimony. You don't know, your test end up being a testimony for a lot of different things. And when you go through a lot of different changes and rearranges, oh my God, I almost had my eye twitching. It just changes and rearranges. You don't realize how much that shows you are blessed, because there's a lot of people that can go through different things in life and they don't make it as far as you have. And a lot of times, even where as far as you made it, like that lets you know God ain't done with you. There's a lot of time I gotta be able to tell myself that. I'll be wiping my eyes, be up in the mirror just going off, and it's just like, girl, God ain't done with you yet. Even when it feels like it's dragging on, you in that slingshot, you don't realize, you only can go back so far until God just like releases you. And you just don't know what kind of, pleasant surprises He got for you, because you allow yourself to keep going through those tests. You withstanding, you sustaining, and that's what He wants you to be able to do. So I hope you were able to resonate with the content of this video, y'all. I've been restarting and starting, but I sound good with it. Less than an hour. I might have a chat. It's not going to be chat support, but it's just live chat and vibe. Live chat, live and vibe, whatever it is. Y'all know what it is. Because I'll say up here, hey, I'm about to have that video, whatever. And just get back on it, because, it's just like I was going through different changes. I had to take that pause for that cause and get better with myself so I can get better with y'all. So I hope you were able to resonate with the content of the video. And I would love to give a post notification shout out to Timberwolf, Alexander Che, Eli, Saint Anger, much love to you. Good to hear from you again. It's been a while. Derek Tate and Trishelle Williams, much love to you as well. Thanks for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. And I hope you're able to get with me on my Lab Chat and Vibe video. I will leave all my post notification in the description box below. Remember, like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up, share, tell somebody about the channel. I truly appreciate everybody that's been supporting me. I've been having a lot of people that have heard word from mouth and been coming to me, and I really appreciate the support. It's truly a blessing for me to be blessed to be able to share that blessing with you. So I hope that you're having a blessed new year. Even though everything is going on right now, don't think that it won't lead you towards better. So, allow yourself to keep going. Don't give up. Just because your dreams is coming into you, that means it's always going to be tested, and the test always have final reward, reward bigger than what you thought about. So like and subscribe, drop that line. I would love a chance to get to hear from you. Even through social distancing, make sure you give out love and light and positivity. You never know how those things can really take somebody a long way. Whatever you're manifesting, I'm putting on your vibe right now, it's going to come so much bigger and better than you ever realized. And it's going to be a lot quicker than you ever realized too. A lot of times you're so much closer than you expected. I'll see you in my next video, or you'll see me on my next video. Much love. Peace. Namaste.